It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
All right, boys. 5:30 a.m. wake-up call. Who's ready for the NFL Combine? Who's ready for some quarterback drama?
Ooh.
What's going on, boys? Oh, there you go.
Good morning.
Put Jay in the middle here.
Of course. Nobody puts me in the corner.
Admin privileges for Jay.
Right?
I think we're running out. We're running at the 5:30 a.m.ers here, right, Booner? We're almost done. We can go back to a normal. Go back to a normal fucking time of life to record a podcast. That 5:10 alarm goes.
Are we back to afternoons and
Not sure
back
yet.
to civilization next week?
Not sure yet. We're gonna find out.
We'll confer
Soon.
Yeah. Well, the combine prep. There's nothing more you can do. You're sending these kids off to be poked, prodded, measured, or if Shadur Sanders isn't working out with the offensive lineman, but he's not going to do any drills. The combine this week. Preserve that stock.
I don't understand.
Combine will soon be done. It'll be over.
The top quarterbacks rarely throw, but when there's this many question marks about, like, when there's not a clear-cut number one quarterback, I always kind of feel like be the guy that's going to go out there and, put your nuts on the table and say I'm QB1, right? Because super easy last year, right? Caleb was like, I'm not doing nothing. Right? Everyone knew he was going 1-1. Just like Marvin Harrison was like, I'm not doing nothing, and he was going to be the first receiver taken. The question marks this year between, is it Cam, is it Shadur? Now you're seeing some, they're like mocking Jackson Dart in the first round. Be the guy that puts your balls on the table and goes, I'm QB1, I'm going to throw, come draft me in the top 5, because right now I don't know who it is, and I don't think the NFL knows who it is either.
I don't think enough is being made of how great of a football name Jackson Dart is, by the way. That sounds like a made-up movie quarterback name or something.
And he like paints his like half his face too. Like he looks like Thad Castle. Did you ever watch Blue Mountain State?
No.
Oh yeah,
No.
he's a Thad Castle.
No, we had lives. Okay. We definitely did not watch that.
Stop, dude. It's a
No,
great
you
movie.
stop it.
It's a
No,
great
it's not.
movie.
Blue
Shut
Mountain
up.
State. Never even heard of it. That's
You
how
would
good
love
it was.
You would love it. It would be right up
adding
your
it.
alley. It would
Hey,
be
if-
right
We're
up
both
your
out,
alley.
Mac. We're out.
Hold on, Blue Mountain State.
Blue Mountain State.
I've seen
It's a
commercials.
movie or a TV show?
I've never watched
It's
the
a
TV show. I never watched the TV show. It's a movie.
Oh wow, season. There's like multiple seasons.
No. The movie,
No, he said TV show.
not the TV show. The movie.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. We're adding it to
The movie.
By the way, you better either on the way to the combine or on the way back, you better be queuing up rounders.
Yeah, it's on
Booney
my
and
list.
I can talk rounders with
It's on my list of things to watch. Trust me,
You have
I've got a lot of
my
plane
money?
flights coming up here.
Pay him his money.
Yeah, I've got
The
flights to
Oreos.
Minnie, flights to Indy, flights to Cleveland, flights to Detroit. Like I'm all over the freaking place.
Good. Well, we'll get the official combine preview from you guys here. By the way, if you're new, or maybe if you've been a consumer of O-Line Committee and you haven't yet clicked that subscribe button and or the like button on one of these videos, you can help us grow the show by just literally clicking like and subscribe and that bell notification. And then on Apple and Spotify, a 5-star rating and a positive review. Jeremiah Sirles, Alex Boone, Phil Mackey. I submit to you guys, I guess, first Mike, the 6 available quarterbacks.
Here we go.
Available meaning either a free agent right now and or a guy that probably gets cut. Your buddy Kirk Cousins, who we'll talk about later. You got to hang out with Kirk Cousins
Your new
this
bestie.
weekend, Jay. Yeah.
That's a fine. That's a fine.
Besties.
Yeah, wow.
That's a dig.
Is there just a hangout with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think-
absolutely.
I think you just get a big baller by association when you're around that much money. Like it's
Listen,
just osmosis is the big baller into you, I guess.
I don't know what the fine is, but when you told me that you were standing on the red carpet trying to take a picture with your wife, and he just jumped in and was like, "Yeah, sure, I got a minute."
To
Listen,
to be fair,
you're all getting fined. He's getting a big baller for sure.
listen.
You're getting, I don't know what yet.
To be fair, we were standing in front of the backdrop for Team Jack Gala this weekend. It's a board. It's a foundation that I'm on the Husker alumni board for, raising money for pediatric brain cancer. Kirk was the keynote speaker this year.
You're raising money against pediatric
Yes.
brain cancer.
For research for pediatric brain cancer. Right?
Yeah.
That is what we're raising money for.
good cause.
It was our 14th year doing it, which is wild. And so there was a backdrop in the VIP room beforehand where you could take pictures, right? And so I was like, hey, Emma, let's get a picture in front of the backdrop. So we walk over there. Well, I didn't realize that people were lining up to take a picture with Kirk. And so I kind of just walk over to the backdrop. We take a picture with my buddy and their family. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm just standing there like, hey, okay, Emma, let's just get one of the two of us. And I'm standing there. And all of a sudden, Kirk just kind of like pops in. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Come on, buddy. Like, and so he pops in. So we get a picture with Kirk. And then he's talking like, okay. And then I was like, okay, we kind of just kept standing there. And then he realized like, oh, you just want one with you and your wife. And so then he kind of like backs away like, oh, and so he goes, but no, it was great. He was fantastic. He did a really nice job, speaking, talking about adversity and stuff that he's overcome in his life. And how he's going to continue. I mean, he's part of so many philanthropic. I don't know. I can't speak this morning.
It's
a
philanthropic.
Thank you. Dude, you
we
just said
you
said like dissolve that word. Huh?
I said philanthropic. What are you talking about? It's a lie.
Don't get sensitive.
Instigator.
And so he did a great job. I think we raised close to I want to say $750,000, which was awesome. And so
That's
but
awesome.
it was nice just to talk with him and get to see him in person. And he talked a little bit about his struggle this year of getting benched, and he told a great story of that. Rick Allen was the MC, who's the play-by-play for NASCAR, and he used to be the voice of the Huskers. And so he asked a question, like, hey, how did you tell your boys that you got benched, right? Like because your boys are old enough now to understand. And he had a great story of like, he came home and he told his wife, that he was going to get benched the last few weeks of the season. So the boys were going to bed. And so they were already asleep when he got home. But like right when he got home, his youngest was still awake. And so he walked in to give his youngest a kiss goodnight. And he said he popped up out of bed and goes, Dad, it's okay. You got kicked off the team. You can hang out. You can hang out with us more and play in the basement, right?
Wow.
And then like the next morning, like the oldest, like he slept in. The next morning, the oldest, like they walked downstairs. He's like, Dad, sorry you got kicked off the team. It'll be okay. And he's like, I didn't get kicked off the team. So, no, he did a great job. A lot of respect for him to come to Lincoln, Nebraska in the middle of February for an event like that. So, yeah, it was
I
cool
thought
to
his
get
kids
to
would be
them.
coming for like cap ramifications takes. Listen,
Right.
Dad, and I feel like the Falcons kind of butchered this from a cap standpoint. But you have an offset contract, so you could go sign somewhere and
Yep.
help another team.
You could.
Old
could.
Kirky boy. That's cool. You guys raised a bunch of money. And, he is, it's crazy. Like, obviously, number one critic from a football standpoint here, old Macadac. But he has been, as a human and as a dad, the Netflix show, and the fact that he's going through this pretty tumultuous point in his career where they probably thought they were going to be in Atlanta for at least 2 or 3 years. And now it's uncertain the next 2 or 3 weeks, and he's flying halfway across the country for a great cause. Props to Kirk.
Lincoln, Nebraska, middle of February on a Saturday night. Like, it's not easy to get in and out of. So, no, a lot of props for him to come and do that. And it just speaks to, the kind of guy he is. And we give him a hard time on this show, obviously from the football side. But, he's always been a leader in the community of whatever he's been in and whatever causes he gets behind. And he talked a lot about his faith and his platform and how he's feeling like this needs to be a steward of what we have because it's not ours. And I just thought it was a great message.
Amen. So for Kirky boy,
You like that?
yes, we like raising money to fight childhood brain cancer. So that's a good segue. I have for you guys 6 available quarterbacks and 6 matches for them. Teams that I would personally like to see these things happen. And you guys can agree, disagree. You can fight me.
Fight you.
You can shuffle this matchmaking game any which way you want to. But let's start with the big headline from the last few days. Matthew Stafford, who's not a free agent. He's not like officially readily available yet. But Tom Pelissero, our buddy from NFL Network, reported that the Rams. So there's been some sort of there's a contract impasse between the two teams. I mean, Matthew Stafford's wife went on a podcast like 2 weeks ago and kind of filleted the organization about the Cooper Kupp stuff. So there's definitely a gap between the Rams and Matthew Stafford right now. And Pelissero reported the Rams have given him permission, or his agent, to gauge value around the league, either contractual value or maybe even trade value.
Yep.
So Stafford is a huge domino right now. Kirk Cousins is a smaller domino, but he's a guy that at least competes for a starting job. By the way, for essentially no money, because much like the Russell Wilson contract, there's offsetting language. So if the Falcons cut Kirk, he will likely sign a veteran's minimum deal, probably like a 1-year deal with somebody, and then make the Falcons pay the freight on the contract. Right?
How much is he making this year too?
$3 million dead cap for the Falcons. I
That
believe
sounds.
I think it was $63 million dead cap for the Falcons this year.
Kirk's. So you can pull up Kirk's base, but Kirk's average annual value is $45 million a year.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know his base.
I think it was 50 to sign.
It's wild, man. And they just move into the Penix era after like 10 weeks. His base, just for fun here, he does have a $27.5 million base salary for 2025. So, and he's not signing for more than $27.5 million coming off that season. So he'll literally sign for like $2 million, and you'll back that $2 million out of the 27.5 base that the Falcons are on the hook for.
Yep.
So you got him. You've got Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, the Steelers quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, who the Jets are cutting loose, and then Sam Darnold, who's the premier, just available free agent. Now the Vikings might franchise him, especially now because maybe the Rams are in play and the Raiders.
Yeah.
But I'll give you 6 quarterbacks, 6 teams, and you tell me agree or disagree. Matthew Stafford, I would love to see this Giants thing work out. There's some Giants rumors. His brother-in-law is the assistant quarterbacks coach. Dable, hot seat, front office, hot seat. If you think you might only have one more year left to run the Giants on the field and front office, how confident are you in Cam Ward extending your or Shedeur Sanders, like a rookie coming in?
I mean, I think either way you still draft one of those guys.
Yeah.
Regardless if you get Stafford or not, you're still drafting Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders probably.
Wow.
Because
I might hedge and go like a Jackson Dart later rather than spending a top 5 pick.
I mean, how many years does Stafford really have left?
One.
Two if he wants.
If he really wants. And how enjoyable is he going to really have a year next year? Right? Like,
but you don't make the move unless you think good things are going to happen, right? You don't make the move thinking, well, he's going to be a disaster, so let's hedge against him.
Yeah, but what if it's an Aaron Rodgers type situation where you get him in there and he's all alone, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, and you're like,
right,
well,
but
boys,
you wouldn't make the move if you think it's going to be a disaster, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like you can't tell what's going to happen. He's old. He's taken more hits than Aaron Rodgers. One more, and you don't know what's going to happen. That's why you kind of have to go after both. One is so old, and we just said it. He has 1 year left, 2 years. We're like, if he can really be strong, two more. What happens if something happens in those 2 years? Then you're looking around like the Jets were like, oh, man, we screwed up. Oh, shit. Right? At least if you draft somebody, you have Shedeur behind him. You have Cam behind him. You have Dart behind him. You have somebody that's like, all right, we thought this might happen. We're prepared. We're prepared to move on. And at the same time, one's making enough. One's not making shit. So you can do it.
Well,
you can pull that off.
What's Stafford making next year?
I think this is 47.
It's all up for renegotiation because I don't think his guarantees have essentially run out.
Okay.
So it's kind of like placeholder framework for the contract. It would have to be a redone like 2-year contract is what it sounds like. And I mean, if you're him, you're looking at the Kirk contract and saying, well, wait a second. I mean, that dude's making $45 million a year average.
Wait a minute.
The cap just went up $20 million from where it was.
We need to talk
a year
about
ago.
that. $20 million. How much is going up this year? It's going up like $40 million this year. It went up to $281.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that. Let's come back to that. We'll circle back to that.
Put a pin in it.
We'll circle back.
Simmer.
So you guys are in or out on Stafford Giants?
I'm in on it. I think it makes sense.
His hands up against John Michael's rump for 17 games. I mean, come on.
I think you're on the line of, if I'm Joe Sheehan, I'm like, screw it, dude. I'm going to pay him. Because guess what? If it doesn't work out, I won't be the one that has to deal with it, right? That's someone else's problem down the road because I'll be fired, right? So I'm going to go all in. I'm going to build this team my way. I'm going to do what I feel like I need to do to win right now, right? And I'm going to go for it. If it doesn't work out, someone else will deal with it, but I can at least go down and say, hey, I built this thing the way I believe we get to win a football games.
Yeah.
Like, I think you have to go all in on Matt Stafford if it's available.
I'm not gonna lie. If they go in on Matty Stafford, I hope they fucking crush. I really do. Just because Dayball and Stafford, Malik Neighbors, Tracy, like, man, that'd be so badass. Problem is they're in such a tough division.
You get Dexter Lawrence back. You get Kayvon
Sexy
Thibodeau
Dexy.
back. Brian Burns back. You build some bolster more through the draft. Like, I don't think they're as bad as we think they are. And
No, I don't either.
I'm starting the Giants. I'm starting to roll the wall back up the hill
There
for the
he goes.
Giants
Look at
like
him,
I
look at
did
him, look at him.
last year.
He's such
Wow,
a
dude,
Dayball
starting
fan.
in
what a homer.
February.
Dude, you cannot help yourself. You and
can't,
Dayball
dude.
are like seriously
unabashed Giants
Look at him.
fan.
I can't help myself.
You look
dude.
like every other New Yorker I know. I know. I don't know what's
know.
wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong. I
February,
can't. I
think-
love the
I think
Giants.
they can win 10
I don't know what's
games.
wrong with me.
Right. I think they can do it. So
They only need Matt Stafford to do it.
they haven't had a real quarterback in 3 years.
Whoa. Whoa, they had Daniel Jones, dude. They paid that man $160 million. That's a real quarterback.
No,
Don't.
he
Put
wasn't.
a pin in it.
That's the other guy. If I'm Stafford's agent,
Put a
that's
pin
the
in
other
it.
guy I'm looking at saying, well, we start with the Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins contracts. And
So
we
we're
work
going to
our way
start at
from
40,
there.
and we're going to work up from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You paid
So-
worse.
But these are all reasons too. I know you guys said you'd hedge and also maybe draft one of those because let's say it would cost you your early second round pick. The Rams are going to say it's Matthew Stafford. Give us your whatever third overall pick. Well, I think that's absurd.
That's absurd. That's not happening. No
But
one's
the
giving
early
you a third.
second round pick, and then you get to keep the first or some sort of a swap for future picks. But
Yeah.
but that's why I would not also I would just go all in for a year or two, and I would build the roster with if I could get the edge rusher from Penn State with that third overall pick.
That dude's
Dude,
going 1-1.
Abdul Carter.
He's going 1-1.
Well,
And
okay.
you talk about that defensive line.
He's going 1-1. That dude is the best player in the draft.
Okay, then let's
Hands
match.
down,
let's
not
match
even
the.
close.
Let's match the
Okay.
Titans then. I have four next quarterback Sam Darnold on this list.
All right, where you got to go?
I have 4 teams on a list, which I think is good news. I know the Vikings have kind of said like behind the scenes, it sounds like he's going to hit free agency. But wait a second, if Stafford leaves, which isn't a certainty, but in this exercise we just sent Stafford to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got the Rams with a very similar friendly offensive system for Darnold. You've got the Raiders with a boatload of cap space and a wide open need at quarterback. The Steelers need a quarterback. And there's some rumblings that the Titans don't love, that they would potentially do what Jay is saying, which is let's stick and pick a stud franchise-changing edge rusher. They've got a bunch of cap space.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Vikings and I'm looking, wait a second, there's maybe 3 or 4 teams that all would be in the discussion for Darnold. I am franchise tagging and then trading him for a third-round pick or something.
Absolutely.
And you'll know that over a bourbon at the combine this
Yeah.
week, what the market
yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, we'll hear the rumblings all week long of what that's going to be. But I mean, if Matt Stafford leaves the Rams, Sean McVay's got to be going, give me Sam Darnold.
Because would you rather have Darnold at age 27 on like a 3-year deal where the first 2 are guaranteed, or 1 year of Aaron Rodgers at 40 or some other?
I also don't think at this
stopgap.
point, I mean, it's crazy to see at this point in his career, but I don't think Sean McVay wants another rookie quarterback. Like, I think Sean's kind of like the way I view dogs. I freaking hate puppies, but I love dogs. Right? Like, I can't stand the puppy that pisses on the rug and you got to rub his nose in it and you got to take him outside all the time. Like, I like the dog that I can go, hey, buddy, come here, sit, stay, don't bother me.
The
and he
the
sits
dogs
and he
they
stays.
get through their progressions quickly.
Correct.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to deal with the let's coddle and build. He wants to win.
Let's
Right.
learn. Nope.
You got to remember, McVay almost retired like 2 years ago. He was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. You think a rookie quarterback's going to make his love for the game just reignite?
That $30 million from Fox looks a little nicer.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think he goes all in for Sam Darnold here if
I
he
agree
gets the
with that.
opportunity and Matt Stafford is gone. That makes complete sense to me based off that. And if I'm the Vikings, 100%, I'm viewing that too as well. We're getting something out of you.
Oh, we're
Sam.
going to get something.
We
from
didn't get
this.
the playoff win that we wanted out of you, but we're getting something out of you
We're going to get draft capital. And
Yeah.
I agree with what Jay
because
said.
they need it. They don't have any.
I don't
That's
think
the
Sean,
problem. They have 4 picks.
Yeah, I don't think Sean is like sitting back going, well, we can go get someone young. I think he's looking at this like, who's the best available quarterback? If we're going to do this, we need to. They're going to be getting rid of Cooper Kupp, so they're going to be bringing in some new talent. Puka Nacua out there. Like, it's crazy because the Rams, in my opinion, are the only team that ever just step up and go, okay, we're good. Like, they did it with Jared Goff. They were like, okay, bud, you got to go. Now, all of a sudden, they're doing it with Matt Stafford, where they're like, yeah, sure. You want to seek a trade? And Matt Stafford's probably like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, go ahead. Go find a trade partner for us. And
He's
like,
like,
you know what they are? They're Leonardo DiCaprio. They're like, hey, is that gray hair in your beard? You said you want to get a trade? Go ahead. Go check one out. He's probably like, what are you I haven't talked to you guys in weeks. Yeah, no. We just behind the scenes. We've been talking. You're old. Okay? You got to go. We need something younger, fresher, newer. But Jay's right. We're not trying to go to square zero, right? Because that's like teaching a guy, no, this is cover 2. No, this is 2. Fuck, it's 2. What don't you get? Right? Like, they have to go back. With you bring in Sam Darnold, it's more like, all right, here we go. What are your favorite plays? Here are my favorite plays. Let's mix and mingle. Let's make it wiggle. Let's make it jiggle. Yeah.
It's the
We're gonna
exact
throw the ball.
same offense.
You want to hand the ball off? You're not. We're throwing it.
But he actually has gotten better at running the football recently. Sean McVay runs the football more than Kevin
I agree.
O'Connell.
But if you give him the chance, he'll throw the shit out of that ball. Like, he will just crossing route you.
And if I'm Sam Darnold, dude, that's the
LA?
receiving
Yeah,
core
and
I
he gets to
want.
go back to Los Angeles,
Yeah,
which is the last time he was
give me
football
back
comfortable.
Puka Nacua.
Oh, yeah.
Give me back all that. All Kyron Williams back there. Sign me up for that. So if
Yeah.
I'm Sam, that's where I'm going to be. Yeah, 13.1 versus going to like Tennessee with no state income
Oh,
tax.
no.
We're talking maybe, but I don't know. If you want to win, you're going to LA.
You're going to L.A.
Las Vegas also no state income tax, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you pay a lot of other taxes.
and no
but-
life. Like, I don't. What is going on in Vegas that was exciting about? You signed Pete Carroll. Who am I throwing to?
Whoa.
Who is protecting me?
Pete's the man.
Would you want to go play quarterback for them right now?
Well, no, but you'd have to hear the plan, right? Like, here's our plan. We're gonna go out and draft a bunch of receivers. We're gonna
get
do
Devontae
this.
Adams back. It's going to be great.
No, we're
he
not.
hasn't sold his house in Henderson yet.
By the way, can we just talk about how quick people are like, just trade me. I'm out of here. Get rid of me. I don't want to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden you look, it's become
Tyreek Hill did it and then walked it back like 6 days later.
I'm out. Like, literally 6 hours later. I was
Had a great
kidding.
meeting.
I was kidding. I didn't mean what I
We're
said.
back on the same page. But before we put a bow on the Darnold thing, the more I stare at this, it's like, all right, there's been a bunch of examples of tag and trades of non-quarterbacks. Well, Matt Castle's probably the most comparable from 15 years ago. The NFL is different, but when he started in place of Brady and they won 11 games, crazily did not make the playoffs, even though they went 11-5. And he put up a bunch of numbers. It was his first year starting since like high school because he sat in college at USC.
Crazy,
but
right?
the Patriots tagged him, knowing with really no leverage because he's a free agent and Tom Brady's coming back, and they got a second-round pick from the Chiefs back in 2009 for Matt Castle. So if you're the Vikings and you know there's Raiders steam, the Rams if available, you could also maybe force the Rams' hand and say, do you want to get 10 years younger at quarterback right now? This is your shot. You're not going to be drafting top 5. You're the freaking Rams. You're Sean McVay. If you don't get something for Sam Darnold, I would consider that at this point front office malpractice.
Yeah.
So
Well, you will. They're for sure going to get something. I mean,
Yeah. There's enough quarterback needy teams.
Yeah.
It's the perfect storm for the Vikings.
and
Like,
what can the Vikings
are
say? They can just sit back and be like, well, we're going to keep him.
Yeah.
We need him.
I mean,
We'll need him.
they're completely in the driver's seat.
They're going to
with-
lie to everybody. Well, no,
If
we
this
need him.
was last year, with that quarterback class, I'd be a little bit more nervous about throwing the franchise tag on Sam Darnold. Like, when you're talking about 6 quarterbacks going in the first round.
supply and demand would not have been in your favor.
But this year,
And now it's
oh
down.
yeah.
So now
Right,
they
and
need
with
more.
Kirk being a free agent, with Russell, like all the other veterans, this year you're looking around at the free agents. I mean, this list is okay. Like
Well,
it's old. It's not like there's no one jumping off the page at me where you're like, that's the guy, that's the one.
because those guys don't hit free agency. We know that. We know that for a fact. Like
they get extended.
This is a rare case even with Sam. We're gonna let a guy who took us to the playoffs go, and it's funny because KOC and Kwesi kind of took a little page out of the Rams book. Like as soon as the game was over, they were up on the podium like, "Hey, we want to thank Sam for a great year. Appreciate everything. We wish him well in the future." And it was like, "Well, what? You just lost 10 seconds ago." They're like, "Yeah, no, we're good. We are good."
Sam's eye black hadn't been wiped off.
I'm not even kidding you. It was 5 minutes after the game. They were like, "We cannot wait for JJ to come back." And I was like,
This is a great chapter in Sam Darnold's career book. Yes.
They were quick to be like, "We're out of here." What are they doing? They're letting everybody know, if you want him, you better come fucking ready. You better have picks. You better have something.
If the Rams trade Stafford for a second to the Giants, they just turn around and take that second and turn it right back to the Vikings for
You
Sam
take
Darnold.
this.
They could probably, honestly, they could probably do it for a third. They could probably.
Whoa, Mackie, why are you always lowballing everything?
I'm just, how much do those last
said
two
a second.
games factor into this discussion, or have we just forgotten about those last two games?
You haven't forgotten about.
We
those.
can't bring him to a negotiation. He'd be like, people would be like, "I don't know, Mackie." Would be like, "We'll take a third."
We'll just take a third. We'll just take a third.
Mackie, shut up. They were going to give us a first. God,
Get him out. We want him out. We want him out.
Idiot.
We don't want him anyways. You fucking have him.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I'm
Send
sending
the retirement home, please.
No. He's gonna one.
And then
one
I'm
last
voiding
year.
this. I'm
Dude,
vetoing this.
One of the Steelers players straight up came out and was like, "Don't send him here."
Yeah, no. Nobody
Who
wants
said
Aaron in
that?
the league anymore.
Dude, I can't. There was a Steelers DV that was like, "Nah, we don't want him. Like, send him to the old folks home." Like, it was.
Wow.
Let me see. if I can
Everyone's
find that.
thinking it. Everyone.
Well, for the record, in this exercise, I am sending Aaron Rodgers to the quarterback needy Steelers for one last ride.
Oh, no.
Mike Tomlin.
I think you guys have that all wrong. This whole tip of the cap thing, I don't think it means anything.
But who then? But if not Aaron Rodgers, I could see Darnold. I think Darnold makes a lot of sense for the Steelers. Get a guy in here. You're not. Are you going to draft Jackson Dart late in the first? Is that their plan? Second round? I mean, go get someone who knows what they're doing to fit in with a team that makes the playoffs pretty much every year.
Deshaun Elliott, DB for Pittsburgh Steelers, commented on a thing that's saying like Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers said, "Leave his ass at the retirement home."
Ooh.
So
I said it first.
Poor guy.
maybe not.
I'm going to say no to this. Just a hardcore no.
If not the Steelers,
Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to be the team. I think the Raiders
throw
are
to
the team that
who?
wants him.
why would he want to play for the Raiders? I could see why Darnold would. Here's $100 million contract.
Right. I mean, I think Aaron's ego is too big to go out like this. I mean, with the rumors of your last press in the NFL was you groveling for your job.
You're begging.
There's no shot he's going out like this.
But you need somebody to want you. That's the problem. And if I'm a GM,
there's going to be one of these teams based
No,
off of
I don't even think
what we just talked about, supply and demand. Supply and demand. One of these teams is going to need a quarterback.
Not like that.
So they're going to draft Jackson Dart. They're gonna draft the kid from Louisville in like the 4th, right? And they need a guy to come in and bridge for a year.
Is he but just think about this. Is he the guy that you really want mentoring young people? Like, I'm just asking a serious question because this is your job. This is your future. This is your team. He just went to the Jets and blew it up. Blew it up. Do you think as a GM, I'm like, oh, I trust this guy? It's the only problem he's had was in New York. He never had problems with Green Bay.
He doesn't think he's the reason why that's kind of his thing too.
That's why he's insane.
He's always detached from the negative result.
I have a slightly different view of that, Boone, because I rep Adrian Martinez, right? He was the practice squad quarterback in New York all year with the Jets.
Yeah,
and he talks about how great Aaron is in the room and like all of like how much he's helped him along and how much he helped him grow with film and all that stuff. So I do think there's two sides to Aaron Rodgers. I think there's the persona he puts on outside and what he does. And then I think there's the doors are closed, film is on, let's sit, let's learn, let's grow. Right. And no one is going to get to see that side of him unless you're there. Right. And Adrian, to his credit, has never said a single bad thing about Aaron, has talked about how great he's been for his development, how great he's been for learning from. So I do think he still has that in him. I don't know if it's what he wants to do, but I still do think he does a decent job at it.
I just don't think that little bit of goodness outweighs the fact that his name is always in the media. And then there's like, oh, he met with the owner to get the head coach fired. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what the fuck? You stepped way out of your boundary, dude. The minute you stepped into firing a coach, that's not your fucking lane. And the minute that happens as a GM, I'm looking at this like, did this guy just go behind the coach and stab the shit out of him? What the fuck is that? That's not football. That's not what we do at this level. That's why, and this league has changed. People are watching their back. Dude, they don't give a shit. Kirk Cousins just got $200 million. They cut him the same year. There are no more fucks to give because there is no more time to waste. The margin for error is that big. And you're going to bring a guy in that is dangerously close to exploding your team, and you're like, I think this will be good. I'll draft 2 guys with him. I'm good. I am so good.
Well,
Listen, Jameson Winston,
Pete and him can
come on
pick out
down.
retirement homes together. So,
I
It
mean,
could be great.
dude.
Let's go up to Reno for the weekend.
Yeah.
all right? Let's
Ayahuasca's legal
remember,
there too.
You remember Old Vegas area? That's where I cut my teeth.
yes,
Fremont Street.
the Golden Nuggets back in my day. So all right, so you guys are out on Rodgers to the Steelers. Kirk Cousins, Jeremiah's new best friend.
Bestie.
I do think Vegas makes some sense because they need
Jets.
no dude.
Jets.
Jets.
Okay, 2 things on that. One, I have him. I think it's kind of coin flippy Raiders or Cleveland because Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski was his offensive coordinator with the Vikings and parlayed that into a head coach job. But to your Jets point, if you guys remember back 7 years ago, Kirk produced his own like free agency documentary, and there's a clip. It's like a 4 or 5 part, like it was on Facebook Watch or something. And there's a behind the scenes part where he's talking about leveraging the Jets and the Vikings off each other for like the final bid.
Yeah.
So he did almost go to the Jets 7 years ago. That was the thing. I'm sending him to the Cleveland Browns though for this exercise.
That's not a bad. I like that because it's Stefanski. They obviously have familiarity.
Clean up the quarterback image.
You're really going to clean it up, like clean it the other way, 180 it. I mean,
The Kirk massage scandal you don't think is going to be in the headlines?
I don't think
Not
that's
in
coming
Cleveland,
down.
it's
I don't
not.
think that's coming down the pipe.
yeah, I definitely see that. I could see that happening. I don't.
But the only reason I don't know if I can see that happening, I don't know if the ownership's like, you're not bringing another broken quarterback in here.
I don't know, man. That ownership's pretty fucking stupid.
I mean,
know.
Deshaun was broken from a physical standpoint,
Yeah.
like when you brought him in, and then he had the other nonsense with him. Like Kirk is coming in still
Dude.
somewhat broken from the Achilles. He didn't look like himself last year, and that he's now another year removed, and that's a hard surgery. I mean, it takes a year to really come back from, right? And so they're going to bank on the fact that he is healthy and he's able to move and run and gun. Yeah, I think Stefanski's probably like, I need stability at this position. Please, for the love of God, I can't keep going from who is the Dorian Thompson-Robinson to Deshaun
DTR.
to
Jameson Winston.
Are you going to bring me J-Mo back? Are you going to keep me?
Dude,
Are you going to
J-Mo's the
bring
man.
40-year-old
J-Mo's the man.
Flacco back too? Like he's just begging for consistency at the position. I think. Yeah, I do.
I'm not gonna lie,
Kirk
dude.
Makes sense.
When
I
you
can
go
see
over-
that, Mac. I can.
When
see
you
that.
go over the Browns quarterbacks over the last like 3 years, it's a whoa, what is going on? DTR, Joe
Flacco, baby.
Jameson Winston, like you're like, Jesus, it has been bad there for Stefanski. No wonder he's getting so gray, dude. He's got all them
Yeah.
gray hairs in his beard. That's why. And dude, no, I'm just gonna say this. Maybe ownership had a point when they were like, stop bringing in old fucking guys that are broken, right? Because now you're gonna bring in a guy. Hey, I got a guy towards Achilles 2 years ago. It's okay. Got benched last year. Super healthy.
I mean, same
I don't
thing,
know
though.
how you sell
sign
that.
Kirk for cheap and you draft a quarterback.
You're definitely drafting somebody if you're signing him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could use that's a team.
What if he gets replaced twice in 2 years by a rookie? God, that would be terrible.
and is he going to want some assurance that, hey, listen, I know that I've kind
You're
of
not
played
getting
that
it.
card.
You're not getting it.
giving
I'm
anybody-
sorry. You're
You
not
get
getting
I
it.
zero.
agree, but
No.
he's an assurance guy. You know,
No.
You can ask for it, but You're
Doesn't hurt
only
to
as good.
ask.
This
is
isn't
also-
2022 anymore. Like you're not coming off a Pro Bowl season. You don't have the leverage you had going into even last year's negotiations.
This is also why the Jets make no sense to me for Kirk. I think that ship has sailed. We're starting this is a reset. We just had an Achilles old guy. It did not work. Very different personalities, Kirk and Aaron Rodgers.
They'll do it. They'll
But-
do it. Just wait.
So what I would do for the Jets, moving on to the fifth quarterback here. Again, it's kind of not a free pass year, but it's like let's rebuild the framework of the house year. We got Aaron Glenn in here now. We say goodbye to Rodgers. We're not planning on winning 12 games in year one. We'll see what happens. I would bring in Justin Fields. I would take a fly, and I might draft a guy too, but I would take a flyer on Justin Fields. Let's get young, mobile, athletic. You're losing 2 veteran offensive tackles to free agency, so you're probably going to need someone that can run for his life a little bit. And, you can see if you can resurrect a former top 10 overall pick or whatever, top 12 overall pick, while you look ahead to 2026 to maybe draft another quarterback.
I like it.
I do.
I'm on board with that. I think you want to get younger at the position up there. You're talking about competing with Josh Allen, Drake May, Tua, and then throw in Justin Fields. He fits into that younger run and gun type of player. I'm here for it. I like it. I think if they don't get Kirk, then make a play for Justin Fields because he's not going to be expensive either. I mean, I'd be shocked if he gets over 80 a year.
Which will also help you bring in everybody else, especially when the cap is 281. Like you're going to be looking at, hey, we can really fix this team. I like the Justin Fields, especially because he is going to be cheap, and it's like, hey, if we bring him in, we can bring in a lot of pieces around him. We can fix this team up.
Who'd they hire for an offensive coordinator? Because that'll be interesting.
It was
Aaron Glenn coming from Detroit.
I'm almost positive it was
what
somebody
Ben
from Detroit.
Johnson. Right, seeing what Ben Johnson did up there and how he built that team from the line out, run game first, play action, right? You're not bringing Justin Fields in to have him drop back and throw it 60 times a game.
It's
Tanner Engstrand.
He's from the Lions, so he's
a Jim Harbaugh guy too at San Diego and Michigan back in the day.
It's going to be a run-oriented offense.
Yep.
The quarterback run piece added in there with the guy that can absolutely fly, right? I mean, Josh Allen can run and he's big. Like Fields is a home run hitter at quarterback. That dude can turn the corner and go.
Your guy Scott Turner, Norv Turner's son, is he
Scotty's back?
the pass game coordinator? Is that
no?
true?
Tanner's the pass game.
Okay.
So Scotty must be the run
Quarterback's coach, probably.
Yeah.
Does
that mean Norv's coming?
Probably in some
Good old
sort of
Norv.
consultant analyst
you know what?
role.
Fuck Norv. I hit him up. He didn't even hit me back. I saw the
text
bubbles and then it went away, and I was like, motherfucker.
I'll text him. We got to meet.
No,
with him this
Scott
week.
Turner is the pass game coordinator for the Jets.
It says
and then
that
Engstrand,
is.
but he's the offensive coordinator that oversees.
But it says the pass game specialist.
I mean, they're just going to emphasize passing with a bunch of dudes this season.
Scotty,
with Kirk.
do what you do. Oh,
And then I'm sending Russell
That would be
Wilson
awkward.
to the Titans for the final piece of this exercise.
once again,
Russell Wilson
You mean
in
the
those
retirement
teal
home?
uniforms.
You mean that retirement home up the street?
He's going to play another year.
Is he still making 50 from the Broncos and like 1 from the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah.
Is he still doing that?
It's a good question.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
yeah, I do think if I'm the Titans, I'm not drafting a quarterback at 1-1
So go in with
Fuck
Will
no.
Levis,
or
Russell
1-2.
Wilson.
Right, they're 1-2. Are they number 2?
No,
Titans are 1.
Titans are 1 or Jacksonville's 1?
Titans are 1.
no.
I thought Jacksonville was 1.
I thought Titans were 1.
Any other guesses? Any other guesses as to who's the number one?
It's one of those two teams.
It's the Titans.
It's the Titans. The Jaguars
Yeah.
pick 5th.
Yeah, the Titans suck.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'm taking Abdul Carter 1-1.
Of course you are.
Dude,
And you could go get your Jackson Dart later.
yeah,
Dude,
but
That's the old Mario Williams draft. Remember that? What was that, 03?
that dude's so. I mean,
When he
he's-
came off.
Abdul Carter is more polished than Micah Parsons was coming out of college.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to
Dude's a
say that he's
stud.
as good as Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons has developed so well in the league. But you put those two guys together at where they were coming out of college, Abdul Carter is much more polished and much more of a complete edge rusher than Micah Parsons ever was in college.
and that's where isn't that where
It's nuts.
franchises get that's where people get fired is, well, we don't have a quarterback and
We need to get one.
we are picking number 1, so we have to draft the best, even if the best quarterback is not one of the
top 10.
10
He's
best
not even
players on the
top 10
board or
or-
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Well, you could also
You definitely
leverage.
get fired doing that.
You could trade back with a quarterback desperate team
You could
and still get Abdul Carter with the second or third pick if you can assure that the first two picks are quarterback.
If the Giants are so concerned that they're not going to get Shadur or Cam Ward that they want to trade up to 1-1, you could do
Where are
that.
the Giants at? Are they at 2?
4?
They're at 3.
3 or 4.
Who's
Let's
at
play
2?
a game called You Guys Guess Who's Drafting Where.
Okay. Tell me who's 2.
Who's drafting 2?
No. Who is the team?
You tell me.
Is it the?
It's Jacksonville, you moron. We just talked
You
about
just
it.
said it was.
No,
you said
Jacksonville's
5. That's
Oh.
why. I think it was the Jets. Is it the Jets?
That's a lashing out
It's a
fine.
lash fine.
It sure is. Is it the Jets?
Jets are drafting 7th.
Who was terrible last year?
Could be.
You guys have
it could be
Titans
the
1.
Patriots.
Patriots are 4. So we're looking for 2, 6, 8, 9, 10.
Is it the Browns?
Browns. There we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Good job, dude.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
got this.
that's the Browns. All right.
Well, then see that makes you nervous to go to 3 because they could go take Abdul Carter and trade Myles Garrett away.
Unless they just got Kirk Cousins.
They're still gonna need someone, bud. He tore his Achilles. Listen,
2 years ago.
I
he's
don't know
fine.
if you guys got this or not.
Listen,
but
Kirk's a
they
great
have
guy.
changed.
I'm
the
all
game.
about Kirk now.
No, they changed the game for everybody. They fucked it up for everybody. Here are 2 guys that came off injury that were super old, and everyone was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Look, he's throwing passes in a tennis court. He's fine." You're all dumb and you're idiots because now you turned around and you were like, "That was dumb," and now you're talking about doing it again. You're like, "Yeah." Just sign him for less this time. Sign him for less.
I think the Giants, regardless if they sign a quarterback in free agency or not, are taking a quarterback at that position at 4 or 5 or wherever they're at.
3 it'd be
3
for the Giants.
They're
Yeah.
taking a quarterback. They have to. They have to.
Shadur in New York is a lot of fun.
You don't
But
think?
if you- but-
you don't
but
think
here's what's
Mora's
gonna
going?
happen.
I need asses in the seats. I need MetLife to fill back up. How do you do that? You bring in
Stafford.
fresh blood.
But then here's
Bring
what's
in
going to
Stafford.
happen. Well, Stafford would make them more competitive for sure.
Just,
But
we
does-
just
if
said
they-
he's
if
going
they-
there.
If they draft Shadur, I don't think then they. I mean, you have to make the Stafford decision 2 months before you make a Shadur decision. But I don't think it's both. But here's what's going to happen: if they draft Shadur 3rd overall, it's going to be a little more exciting. But by the way, Washington and Philadelphia aren't going anywhere in that division.
No.
Let's say it's a little better and you win like 6 games and it's a little more exciting. People might still get fired. In fact, they might. You want to make it exciting? They might fire Brian Daboll then and bring in Dion to be the head coach in 2026. That's what this could be a setup for.
Don't say that.
Oh,
That's dangerous.
That's playing
That's-
with fire.
That really
Are we
is.
are we all on this show certain that Dion will allow Shadur Sanders to play for the New York Giants? I mean,
When
Dion
you're
has-
comparing
Dion
it to
has said
Titans, Browns,
Dion has always been about like I will decide where Schindler goes, and I will I don't know
who's on his
right.
permission list then?
And who's on his
Raiders, Jets. I'm not sending my quarterback son to play for the Jets. 0 chance.
Little Mackey's not going to go play
Little Mackey's not
JETS.
ever playing for the Jets.
Little Mackey, who does not currently exist, but maybe someday
Your
will not.
hypothetical NFL quarterback son.
My dog
You
will
don't
not
know.
be playing quarterback for the Jets.
So we're saying then essentially that Justin Fields goes to the Jets, and then all of a sudden they're going to draft Shadur Sanders.
no,
No,
not
no,
the
no.
Jets, not the Jets. I'm talking about the Giants.
Giants. Sorry, Giants. So
No.
they
Yeah,
get Matt
Justin
Stafford
Fields to the Jets, and then you're
Stafford to
saying
the
Shadur Sanders
Giants.
to the Giants.
and the staff. That's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of shit going on in New York, boys.
I think that's how it goes.
So those are the 6 quarterbacks with 6 and a bajillion other landing spots that we can.
By the way, there's only 2 of them that we really liked, Mac. Sam
what the,
Darnold,
like landing spots?
and Justin
well,
Fields.
Yeah, because you guys are kind of on the Stafford to New York thing.
I like it.
We're not against it. I think you have to get something behind him to be safe.
You know,
And I'd be curious if the Rams let him walk without having a plan at quarterback.
oh yeah,
Right, the
this is
Rams-
all going to be set up on like Thursday night
sure,
this week.
yeah.
Like
right?
the Rams are going to have something like ready to pull the trigger on before they fully allow Stafford to get out of there.
Yeah,
but they can't pull the
absolutely.
trigger on it or have it be reported beforehand, or they lose all leverage in the Stafford trade discussions.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
it's going to
tightrope
be
that they're
hush
walking.
hush, complete hush hush.
I just want to know
Quiet.
what they say to make him go hush hush. Like, are they really like not a word? And people are like, got it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Loose lips sink ships.
Yep. So, okay, before we get to some dumb football questions here, Booney, we put a pin in the cap stuff from earlier.
Thank you.
It is kind of crazy, man. Like, the NFL has announced a $281 million salary cap, which is
Crazy.
up. What is that up from last? You said 40?
Yeah.
It was 2024.
Wasn't it 240?
Yeah, it's projected 280. 2024 cap. It was 255. So it's going to be up $25 million from this last year. And here's another thing to look out for down the road on this. Brett Coleman, noted NFL YouTuber, plugged into the league. He tweeted this a few days ago. Keep in mind, the NFL agreed to a media rights deal back in 2021. And at the time, Jeff Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, who has a background in film and TV production, knows that the league will be going back to the negotiating table for new TV deals in 2029. So in like 4 years, the cap's going to spike potentially
Even
big
more.
time. Because now what they're doing now is instead of just using the Nielsen ratings measurement, they're getting much more accurate information on younger generations who are streaming football in different ways. So the NFL essentially is going to see a major spike in audience with new measurement, like people that were maybe not tracked before. So what Jeff Lurie did was when he signed Jalen Hurts to an extension, they backloaded $100 million for a cap hit in 2029 when the TV contracts are going to be renewed and the cap is going to spike again. So if, I guess, long point longer, the cap just spiked $25 million. And there's a new TV rights package coming down the pipe in like 3 or 4 years. So for some, like for a Sam Darnold, for Trey Smith, some of the top end free agents, you could sign those dudes to like 4-year contracts, 5-year contracts, and just backload the crap out of the accounting so that you'll barely even feel it in 2029. You might see some crazy contracts coming up here in the next, league year on March 12th or whatever the date is.
Yeah, I would definitely. And those guys are so smart. And two, you know how they think is, am I going to be here in 3-4 years? I don't know. But if I am, we'll deal with it when we kick the can down the road. I mean, obviously we knew at the time that the only thing that was going to save the owners in the holdout or the lockout was the TV money. And the minute that we got that frozen, people were like, wait a minute. They're getting how much money for TV? And you were like, yeah, billions. They're making so much just on TV alone. They're getting paid a fortune. Now you got Peacock coming into it. You have like all these crazy YouTube. Everything's out of control where it's like, we're just going to get all these guys to pay us all this money. Netflix, like football of the past being on like Fox, NBC, that shit's going to be gone soon. They're going to make you pay extra for everything. And it's like, these guys really are smart as shit, but what they did was they turned around, they put it back into the cap, and that's why the cap keeps jumping so high every year. Dude, $280 million to build a team, and you go 4-13. Boy, somebody better get fired. $300 million you had, and you fucking lost that many games. You're an idiot. You're fired.
You're fired.
That's how I'm firing GMs from now on. You're an idiot. Get out of my office.
Jay, I think your mic disconnected. I
Yeah.
don't know. You're pantomiming your take.
You've been
If you
trying
could
to.
just,
I'm
draw
trying to
your
look
takes.
at you like, what are you trying to tell me? I still can't hear you.
Just refresh it and come back in.
You know what?
Get a
Fine
little
him.
take.
Ding his ass. Conduct unbecoming. Well, now that he's gone, we can talk for real.
Let's talk real shop here.
Real shop.
Let's
You
talk
tell me,
real
Mackie.
shop, man.
What do you want to talk about?
By the way, baseball on the other hand, did you see
Oh.
that news from this weekend?
back.
ESPN,
I'm back.
there he's back.
Okay, I'm
Good
back.
job, dude. ESPN just said, yeah, we pay billions of dollars for all these other sports like NBA, the NFL Monday Night Football package. $500 million a year for us. We're not going to pay for baseball anymore. First time, 35 years, ESPN is out on baseball. So, and the NFL is just.
Who cares?
I feel like the
Whoa.
NFL is.
What'd you say?
I think the NFL is the
cares?
only sport that's like continuing to rise and
No
thrive.
one cares about baseball. It's
NHL might
boring. The NHL's great.
What
no
they
one
just
cares
did-
about baseball.
It's
dude.
it's niche though. NHL and baseball are in a similar bin in terms
People
of regional
love
niche
the
sport.
NHL like they love soccer. When it's got the USA across the front, we'll support it. Other than that, no one's watching it.
You guys are the
I
worst
love
Americans
hockey.
I've ever
I
seen.
love hockey. I watch hockey all the time. I try and talk about hockey with my neighbors and whatnot. They're like, I don't know.
Here's
You're
the
in
test.
Nebraska.
Dude,
Dude,
if
you're in your microcosm. You're in the state of hockey. Of course,
I know, that's
you
why
guys
I
are
love it.
talking about it.
I love it.
You go
It's fun.
anywhere else in the lower 48, and they're just like, "Ooh, football season starts in September. I don't know what to tell you."
That's the thing. Like the test of how popular is the sport is how likely are you to watch a random game. If I said, "Hey Jay, hey tonight it's the Penguins and the Flyers on
Are you
ESPN.
kidding?
Are you in?"
Sydney and Malkin? Oh my God, we're
did.
fucking going
Boone
to
did.
town.
I
Pasternak?
watch random hockey too. I do. This time of year, it's random
Okay.
hockey games and golf. Like that's what in F1 testing starts next week. Can't freaking wait. Right? So I get excited about that stuff. But yeah, it's not baseball.
But if I tell you, hey,
You're
there's
laughing
a-
at baseball, but you watch golf. That's a fine. OMG.
I would say
watch golf.
Tuck
I
your
would
polo
say
away,
I would
tough
say
guy.
golf. I would say golf is more popular to watch than baseball.
golf also severely declining ratings because it's mostly for both sports. It's like the average age of audience is 59 or 60 years old. But
Plus, it's one
that's
of those
where the-
things where you just put it on a Sunday and it's in the background. Welcome to the Masters. You're like, oh, I forgot that was on. I should.
No one forgets the Masters is on.
I did.
chirping in the
Do it.
background.
I don't even know when the Masters is. I gotta be honest with you. That's how annoying it is to watch
wait.
golf.
Boone, guess what month the Masters is in?
If I said May, would I be wrong?
Yes.
Yes.
Not a fuck was given. Let me just warn you. Love to golf. Could not have
April.
more fun. Cannot watch these 65-year-old men and these other guys. They're like, this guy's strong. He can bench press 315 pounds. Like, oh God, stop it. Looks like a
And
punter
now
out there.
it's funny though. ESPN has decided that the Tiger Woods Golf Simulation League is worth paying rights fees for. Now they're probably not paying $500 million a year like baseball, but they would rather put 3 hours of golfers hitting balls into a simulator than a Yankees Red Sox game.
I don't get that. I just
It's crazy.
Nobody.
But on the football
watches.
side, all of us are like, it's the Browns and the Jaguars on
it's
Thursday,
on.
on Sunday
It
night.
is
Let's
on.
yes. Let's
Here's
go.
a guy. Here's a guy.
Football is king.
That's
football
different.
Is
Football
king,
is king.
Always will be king. And fantasy football obviously drives a lot of that.
Yes.
Right. I mean, fantasy football, and because I get the ads all the time from like after fantasy football season. It's like, don't forget to sign up for fantasy baseball. It's like, dude, I'm not watching 170 games and tracking my fantasy football, my fantasy baseball team like every day, having to make lineups. Like, no, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous.
I used to be in for almost
course
20
you were.
years, a fantasy baseball league with 16 owners and 33-man rosters. So you're literally rostering like AA players. Like, oh, my guy got called up to the big leagues.
Oh my god.
Top 10 overall prospect.
That's too much. That is way too much.
pretty
I'm
wild,
sorry.
man. Fantasy golf? Anyone down for some fantasy golf this year?
I would do it. I would do it.
Boone,
I'd
you
love
just
it.
pick 10 dudes you've never heard of, and you go up against noted
We gotta do a
golf
Masters
enthusiasts.
pool. We gotta do a Masters pool.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
We get to pick 4 golfers and we win off the top payouts. Not where they
Dude,
place.
let's do it.
What team makes the most money off the people?
Okay.
Yep. Boone, you'll have to learn golfers.
I don't even know any golfers.
I'll send you.
We'll just give you a sheet, and you can just circle 4 random golfers and see
I'm
if you
in.
can beat us.
I am
Okay.
so in. Steak and a beer.
Sounds good.
gonna
All right, let's
take
do some
Tiger.
dumb
It's gonna
football
take
questions to see if Tiger can even physically get to the Masters. Poor guy. Dumb football questions here. We stockpile these throughout the offseason too, so keep sending in the YouTube comment section. No question is too dumb for dumb football questions here. Let's start with this one. Rob Canisto, 8635. And he says, so what is the head football coach doing at any given time during the game? Who's in his headset? You always see him talking to people in the headset, right? Is he then matriculating information and setting directives to coordinators, position coaches? How much does he interact with players or give instant feedback? What is the head coach doing for 3 hours?
everything. That everything is the right answer, right? Everyone has connection to his headset. He's got multiple buttons on that little box that he carries the headset. One's to the OC, one's to the DC, one's to the special teams coordinator. Like anyone can be clicked into that box. But he also has upstairs where, hey, throw the challenge flag. Don't throw the challenge flag. He is truly juggling everything because he's the only one that can throw that little red flag. The interaction with the players piece, very different coach to coach, right? Is he truly only a D coordinator guy where he's only going to talk to the defense and then cuss out the offense? Is he truly an offensive guy, right, where he doesn't even speak to the defense during the games? It really depends on where they hang their hat on their football acumen for how much player interaction is going on. But so much of it is game time management, clock management, decisions for, hey, are we going for it on fourth or are we not going for it on fourth? Field goal, punt, like all that stuff. Every major decision that happens throughout the game is filtered through the head ball coach, right? So very rarely are they like drawing up plays and going over adjustments on the sideline because the game is still going on and they still have to be very plugged into what's happening there. So it is truly a mind meld of trying to, hey, we got to throw it to the out route on 3rd and 8 to, oh my gosh, what's going on? Do I need to punt, kick a field goal, whatever's happening? Right? It's just a ton of logistics going on during a game.
One of the things that I always heard was at certain times in the game, they're kind of like in a conference room. So like the offense sits in one set, the defense sits in another, the special teams another, and then if you want to talk to someone privately, it's kind of funny because at times they'll be like, go to channel 5. Brian, you there? Brian, hold on. Did you say 5? No, 6. Oh, 6. Brian, you there? Brian, like, dude, it's so funny. But the worst is, at times, there's so many people talking on the headset because you'll just hear the coach like, hold that thought. I need to ask. Hold on. Like, it gets super jumbled. And the worst is when the OC's trying to call a play, but the head coach wants to call the play, and these two are fighting, and we're in the huddle, like, watching the clock tick down. 20, 19, 18. Did he give you the fucking play yet? Nope. Got nothing. All I can do is hear him talking.
Quarterback's on a different channel, so he doesn't hear like the back and forth between
he
a
hears
coordinator.
Like the live, so they'll press a button and it automatically gets directed into him. So you'll see him sitting in there like, I got nothing. I don't know. 14, 13. Fuck it, run Peter. 96 Peter. Here we go. Dude, it's the worst. I'm not gonna lie to you. At times in Frisco, we had to take a lot of timeouts because those two were like, got to get the perfect play in, and it was like, it's fucking 2nd and 4. Just call anything, it'll work. What are we worried about? It would drive us nuts, but it is very chaotic on the headsets, and if you talk out of turn, people, I feel like on the other line are like, shut up, because at times our coaches would go to say something, and then they would just stop immediately and be like, my bad, go ahead. It was like, I want to be on that headset.
Have you ever been on the headset for a game?
I've put it on and been like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, so I was in college. I never was in the NFL. In college, I got hurt, and I was like, all right, give me a headset. I want to hear what's going on for the rest of the game. It gave me so much anxiety, right? Because the 40-second clock has started, right? And you've got, okay, what are we doing? You got the run game coordinator, the passing game coordinator, application, like screaming at each other, like, let's do this, let's do that. And then there's one random guy that starts counting down at 20 seconds. He's like 20, 19, 18, 17.
While everyone else is
everyone's counting.
What are we running right now?
Like,
what are we doing?
Listen, stop, dude. Like, you
let's
just
go trips
like,
right.
16, 14, 15,
let's go trips right.
11, 10. Call timeout. No, just let him go. He's going to get it. 6, 5. Like, this dude just like counting in the background. And then it just starts over again at 40 seconds. Like, it's 40 seconds, 40 seconds, 40 seconds of these people just losing their
But
mind.
isn't as you're watching a game, this couple of things. It's hilarious as a fan. You sit there and you're like, this head coach is a bozo. Why? It's like he's literally has a fire hose blasting at his head.
Yes.
4 people are
Different
yelling
channels.
at him. Yes.
And you can see why being like a rookie head coach, having to control all of that
It's
for
a
the
lot.
first time is wild.
Yeah.
But the first thing you see early in, okay, here's a 1st and 10. We run the ball 4 yards or whatever, and now the 40-second play clock starts over. The first thing that has to get decided is the personnel grouping that's going out, right? Mm-hmm. Are we running 3 wide receivers? Is it 2 tight ends? What is it? Does the play have? You have to know what the play is going to be before, or do you just throw a personnel grouping out there and then figure out like how does that timing work?
They're pretty well endowed. Like they know the situation, so they're prepared. Like, hey, it's 1st and 10. If we can get 5 here, we're gonna send in 21. If we don't, we're gonna keep 11 in. Like they know going into it what the situation is. If you ever look at those play sheets, they're numbered like 1st and 10, 1st and 15. Like these are, and they'll go to that section. Okay, what do we get? We got 5. All right, 2nd and 5. Hey, let's go 21 personnel. Let's go Jack Wright, Queen, 96 wham on one-on-one. Here we go. And then all of a sudden they just push it in there. But all of a sudden the problem becomes when you get into like these 3rd and 3s or a 3rd and 2 and you got one guy that's like, hey, let's go double slant follow. And all of a sudden someone's like, fuck that. We're running ride. What are you talking about? O-line's going to get it. All of a sudden the head man's like, shit, what are we doing? You know what? I like timeout. Like, dude, there's so many people going back and forth at you.
Or you
like,
get the off schedule, like you're on schedule, and all of a sudden you get the sack, and now instead of being 3rd and 4, you're like you call a run play, and you're like, okay, minimum here it's gonna be 3rd and 4. Huge negative play, and now it's 3rd and 11. And you're like, okay,
flip the
back.
script. Here we
Flip
go.
it over. Right?
3rd and long. All right, hey, give me 11 personnel. Give me nickel. Like, dude, you're just it's. But the key is, I feel like these coaches do such a great job of just letting stuff go. Right, like bad play, they're like, we'll talk about it later. Here we go. Let's go to 10 personnel. We're really fucked. Yep, go 10. Go 10. We're gonna call this ace personnel.
I can remember coaches too. Like we'd be trying to make adjustments on the sideline, and they just randomly like go fuck and just rip their helmet, like their headset off.
They couldn't take it.
What? They're like these freaking idiots, man. Like they're just yapping in my ear. Then you hear like a coach from they're like, Tony, put your headset on. Like they like screamed out because he's like writing on the board. It's like, give me a minute. Like it's just chaos.
Dude, the best is when they're like, yeah, okay, hold on 1 second. Guys,
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hey, listen, coach wants me to say, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to tell him. You're like, what is going on in that headset?
It's always funny too when coaches like they're mad at the end of a game and they try to slam the headset, but the cord is still attached, like
connected to their back of their neck, and it just pulls them down. That's the best, dude.
Somebody unplug me. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Vikings fan 1968 says, Jeremiah, I love your helmet collection in the background.
Thank you.
Are those the actual helmets you wore on those teams? Mm-hmm. Did the teams give them to you, shove them into a bag, sneak them out? Do you have to pay for them? Like, do you just get helmets and uniforms from teams you play for? How does that work?
First of all, nothing's free in the NFL.
Nothing's free.
Nothing. Yes, those are all the helmets that I wore. I have all of my Vikings ones, so I had 3 different Vikings ones. That's my only Chargers one. I did steal the Panthers one because I got that. I don't actually know if that's mine or not. But when I got cut from Carolina, I was super pissed off, and so I just threw it in my bag as I was leaving the facility. So that one's probably missing.
Do you get like monthly voice? It's like when you steal the
missing from the
box or something.
Yeah, missing from the itemized receipt from that preseason is one Carolina Panthers helmet. I have not gotten the one I don't have is my Bills helmet, and I can't get it. And that was my custom one. Like they did the scan of my head, like it had.
It's gone, dude.
Like it had the signature in it, and I was like, "What were you gonna do with this? Like this was my helmet." So no, but you pay for them all at the end of the year, and then you're allowed. I think you get the opportunity to buy jerseys at the end of the year, right? And hey, do you want these? I know you sweat and you tried to dye in these jerseys multiple times. Would you like to pay $250 for them?
Yes, I would.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Well,
okay, we'll take it out of your check, Mr. Sirles. Right. So all those jerseys are nothing is given to you in the NFL as thanks for everything.
Question. Isn't there supposed to be like a Kansas City something hanging up?
Yeah, it's coming. I had my
That's
hair
a fine.
I had
Take
my
him
hair
for
cut on
late.
Saturday. No, I'm not buying it. I told him straight up, I go, you want it, you can buy it. I'll hang
Listen,
it.
I'm waiting to see a
paying
Chiefs
for it.
flag, and until I see it,
It's
you're gonna
be-
get dinged every time.
I think I'm gonna have to put it over there. I don't know what I'm gonna do, dude. It's
I think
not-
right
it's
up.
gonna
No, there's a
suck.
little spot kind of
It
where your
has
hand
to be
is
in the
right
screen.
Is
It
that a
has to be in
game
the
ball?
screen.
Is that a game ball with your name on it?
Which one? Over here?
now. Other way.
Yeah, you remember.
What about
this game?
you
You
got a
remember?
few
You remember
different
this
game
game,
balls.
right, Booney? Chargers, the largest comeback in Chargers history. I think you remember
Bingham.
that game, right?
Right now.
2014, Levi Stadium.
Tore my ACL. Dwight
We were
Freeney
up.
did it.
You guys were up what, 28-3 at halftime?
Yeah.
Something like
We
that.
we
Yeah,
were
I remember that game. Yeah, that was my
devastating
first
loss.
NFL game. That was the first game I ever played in.
Wait, you were the offensive MVP
Yeah.
in the first game you ever played in.
Uh-huh. I came in at halftime. And blacked out and played arguably one of the best games of my career. And I got a game ball.
Self-suck.
Wow, dude.
Hey.
That's worth the
That's worth the self-suck. I'll wear that.
There's some that you have to wear, dude. Absolutely.
Undrafted
People-
free agent rookie coming in, my first half of football ever in the NFL. I get a game ball. You fucking kidding me? Yeah, I'll take that.
All downhill from there.
I'll
Just
take
all downhill.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great the next week, but we made it work.
Just smoked the next week.
Smoked.
Let's do one more here. Another Vikings fan anonymous
Oh boy.
says, what can you actually do / participate in around the facility if you're on injured reserve?
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. It depends.
You can't practice.
It depends who you are, right? If you're a guy that if they tried to get on an injury settlement and they tried to get you out of there, like, because they didn't really want you around eating up everyone's time, you're treated like a leper, right? Like your treatment time is 5 a.m., like Monday through Friday, and you're with the intern. Like, but if you're a highly paid vet guy, you're in the meeting rooms, you're walking around on game day, you're there. Like, it's very different on the tiers of where you're at with the team and where they put you on IR or not.
IR is such a weird place too.
It's purgatory.
Yeah,
like it's purgatory, dude.
You see guys on IR and
do you
you're
eat
like,
alone in the cafeteria? Do you guys?
no, but
because your treatment times are usually during practice.
they don't really come around us, but when they do, you're quick to be like, "Oh, I forgot he's on IR." B, what's up, man? How you been? Miserable. They got me coming in at 5. They tell me to leave at 7. Like, man, that's why I haven't seen you. What you been up to? Chilling.
Eating his chicken nuggets alone. And
They're just
They
super
make
upset.
me eat while you're at practice.
Dude, nothing is worse than if you're hurt and you see other guys who aren't hurt, because even though this is never true, like, you feel like they look at you like you're a pussy. You're like, they're looking at you like, what's wrong with you? The rest of us are tough. What's wrong with you? You're like, I tore my ACL.
Snap my leg.
Yeah. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. And they look at you like, pussy. Like, I could have handled that injury. And then the worst is when you see somebody on, like, you don't want to make them feel like a leper, so you're always kind of trying to be like, dude, how you been, man? What's the word? And they're like, just miserable, man. You're like, sorry, bud. Like, you got to do what you got to do. There are times that they're around us, but Jay's right. Like, if you're not one of the guys on the team, like if you weren't a starter before, then they're mostly like, hey, man, you can get some treatment and roll up out of here, because you're probably going to be more of a distraction to anyone than anything. And this is really serious time right now. Like, dude, I remember we put Khalil on IR. I don't know that I saw him the rest of the year. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't see him at all. Well, also, you know who else we put on IR was, remember this one?
Yeah, Andre Smith.
I'm running down the field, and all of a sudden I see.
He's
I'm
like tricep.
What's he doing? He's taking a knee. I'm like, what's he doing? Need a breath? Need a breath, buddy? He's like, sorry, boys. That's a wrap for the year. I was like, whoa.
Tore his tricep or something?
What do you mean?
Andre Smith in 2016 tore his tricep, like place 6.
Never saw him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys, man. They're just like, get your
Well, there's
treatment.
also guys, because you can get if you're a free agent the next year, like if you're on the last year of your deal, a lot of guys will go get surgery off-site and do rehab off-site.
Yeah. Just
Right?
get ready
a lot
for
of
next
us be
year.
like, all right, I'm just going to free agency next year. I'm probably not going to be here. I'm going to move. I don't want to spend my fall in Minnesota, right? I'm going to go to LA, Texas, Florida, do a surgery, find a rehab spot down there, and get ready to roll for next year. And you never see those guys again.
That's crazy.
Dude, IR is such a weird place, man. It's such a weird place.
Yeah, not where you want to be.
Glad I was never on it.
Boys, good episode here. Good episode here. Like, we solved some quarterback
Dilemmas.
conundrums.
Yeah,
We,
we'll have full update from the combine next week.
Oh, man.
Yeah, looking forward to that. A lot of things. There's going to be so much stuff, like news leaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Stafford, Darnold.
Everybody's going to be like assuming,
Juicy.
Stafford to we're just thinking this is going to happen. It's like, dude, where there's smoke, there's fire. Somebody heard something, especially like Pelissero and Shefty and all them walking around the combine.
Hiding in the bushes.
Those dudes.
What'd you say about Stafford?
They live for this week, right?
Dude,
just live for
listen,
Can I
information.
buy you another drink?
Here's what we're going to do.
Personnel director guy.
This week when we're at the combine, we're going to start to try and talk to people about coming on the show. We got to try and get like Pelissero and those guys to come on the show. So we got to talk to them.
Tom would come on.
I think
Tom
Tom
would.
would definitely.
Tom
but,
would
like,
come on.
We should start this week when we like run into people. We should be like, hey, you should come on the show. We should talk more.
Yeah.
I think the goal, like the biggest thing would be often, like Feliciano was amazing.
Oh, amazing.
Just
Tired,
having
too.
this be a landing spot for just some fun offensive line interviews. And then,
Bakhtiari.
we get the newsbreakers on once.
Got to
in a while.
get Bakhtiari on here.
Gotta do
we
it.
got
Yeah.
Deion Dawkins. God, there's so many people I want to talk
We'll
to.
get them.
We're gonna next level this thing in
We're going to
2025.
next level the shit out of
That's
this thing, okay?
In the meantime, help us do that by clicking
Please.
the subscribe button,
Have to.
the like button, follow us on social media, O-Line Committee. Jeremiah, Alex, Phil, we'll see you guys for a little combine recap next week.